We are with State Representative Darya Farivar from the 46th District. So last year you had a bill about child sexual abuse and the statute of limitations, and it did not pass, but it did pass the House this year. So what happened with that bill?
Yeah, so this is a really exciting bill. It was first introduced to retroactively eliminate the statute of limitations for civil cases of childhood sexual abuse. So folks who were pursuing financial remedies for experiencing that level of abuse and trauma. Childhood sexual abuse is something that follows survivors for decades, and they very often don't come forward until adulthood, and it leaves a long-lasting mark on their lives. So last year, the bill moved all the way over to the Senate, and we got a little bit stuck in Ways and Means. Unfortunately, Washington State, our Department of Children, Youth, and Families actually has a backlog of childhood sexual abuse cases, which is horrible. And because of that, we had a pretty considerable fiscal note of about $250 million to address those cases. And while we do not want to leave anybody in the past, we want to help as many survivors as possible. Part of that means that we do need to get this legislation passed so that that backlog does not continue to grow. So this year we're going in and we are amending it to be prospective only to address part of those fiscal concerns and to really make sure that we're getting justice to everybody that we can. One of the very exciting things that has happened is there was a Washington State Supreme Court case that provided the Wolf decision, is what it's called. And this case was all about the discovery rules. Right now, our state law says the statute of limitations for childhood sexual abuse cases for civil damages, it's a mouthful, it's 3 years, believe it or not, which is devastating. However, we have a very liberal discovery rule in Washington that allows some wiggle room, if you will. And it essentially allows that from the time that you're able to connect the trauma and damages you've experienced to the abuse, that's when that clock starts ringing. You have discovered that abuse at that point, and then you have 3 years. In this Supreme Court case decision, they actually provided an even more liberal reading of the discovery rule, and essentially said that it's no longer from the time that you connect the damages to the abuse, but from when you connect the damages to essentially a negligent party, which is even further along in that process, providing even more opportunities for survivors to be able to access justice on their own terms when it makes sense in their recovery process. So those discovery rules were part of what we were trying to address with the bill last year, and now we don't need to address them because there is precedent in case law for this, and so we can just focus on prospectively eliminating the statute of limitations.